What's up, everybody? It's your boy Stevie the Black. That's STEVEE the Black. I'm back, and I'm here to give you another Monday Night Raw review. Before I get into the review, I need to say this. I need to apologize. You're probably all thinking, Steven, what are you apologizing for? What did you do? What I did was not be committed. And what I mean by that is I saw the news of Finn Balor having to let go of the championship, and I didn't share it with you. I also saw the news of the Dudley Boyz retiring, and I did not break it to you. I mean, yeah, it was on WWE.com, but, you know, sometimes you'd rather just see it in a video than read about it. So I apologize for that. Let me fix this real quick. There we go. I apologize about that, and in the near future, hopefully there'll be more breaking news. Hopefully it won't be bad. It'll be good or sad. It'll be good, and I will get it to you. The only way I wouldn't be able to give it to you is if I'm at work, which was when the Eva Marie news broke. I was at work, so I couldn't give you the video. But other than that, also, by the way, I am creating a page for this channel, so that way I'll be able to communicate with you. So that way I'll be able to tell you, oh, hey guys, I'm at work right now, so can't break the video. Or if you have questions that you want to ask me, then you can. So, all right, me doing that now, it's time to get into the review. So let's go. So Raw kicks off with Stephanie and Mick Foley in the ring, and they're basically saying Finn Balor has to relinquish the WWE Universal Championship. And, you know, after seeing it a second time, I was looking at it and I was like, you know what? That belt's still ugly and stupid. But, you know, after a while, everything new, if you really think about it, you're like, ugh, what the heck? That's ugly. That's stupid. But after a while, you get used to it. So I think give it a while. We will get used to it. And, excuse me. Just give it some time. I mean, yesterday I was just like, it just looks like a belt to me. But when I first saw it, I was like everybody else. That belt's stupid. But unfortunately, Finn Balor had to give up the championship when Seth Rollins was going for that barricade thing where he jumps you at the parade. Finn Balor hit his elbow or arm on there, and he dislocated his shoulder. He popped it back in so he can finish the match, but it was bothering him even more when he woke up. Had to get MRI, and he will be out for 6 months. Now, 6 months puts him around February, but if he trains hard and does good, he might be able to make it back to the Royal Rumble. That way he could win it, and then, you know, he could win it, and then, you know, main event WrestleMania. And I know what you're saying, Steve, he doesn't have to win the Royal Rumble. He already is owed a rematch, and that's true. But adding the Royal Rumble victory to his list of resumes is just as good, at least in my opinion. So I think, you know, him doing that and then him headlining WrestleMania, which probably most likely thing will happen, unless most likely it'll be the Undertaker's last WrestleMania, then that needs to go on last because it's the Undertaker's retirement match and he needs to go on last because he's the Undertaker. So it'll be the second to last match. But other than that, I gave the whole segment a B. Oh, before I end it, I gave it a B. Then after he leaves, Seth Rollins comes out. He's like, you won the battle. I won the war. Give me the title now. And then Jericho and Kevin Owens and who else came out? Big Cass came out and Roman Reigns came out. And I was really scared for Roman Reigns. I'm like, the people were fine with him feuding with Rusev. And then he comes out. And I'm like, oh, God, they're going to boo this man. They're going to boo this man. They're going to boo this man, and they did. They booed him, man, and it was horrible. And I'm thinking, no, we were doing fine. Finn, why'd you get hurt? You messed up the plans. But it just goes to show you that anything and any time can happen in the WWE. You can be fine one day and out just like that. But if anybody understands him, it's definitely Seth Rollins because, you know, with his knee, although he caused it to himself, and Seth actually hurt Finn Balor. And it was funny because my friend was like, see, he keeps hurting people. And I was like, oh yeah. He's like, first he hurt Finn, and I was like, oh yeah, he hurt Sting too. And he's like, and then remember when he broke John Cena's nose? It's like, y'all be talking about Brock Lesnar being a dangerous person to work with. Looks like Seth Rollins is the most dangerous one. Because, I mean, he broke Cena's nose, he retired Sting, and he broke Finn Balor's arm. So I guess maybe Seth Rollins the dangerous one. But, so as for who's going to win the Universal Championship, or Stephanie McMahon and Mick Foley putting together a set of matches where we'll see. We'll have a Fatal 4-Way next week. Excuse me, in Houston. We'll have a Fatal 4-Way, and the winner of that match will be the new Universal Champion. So first up, it was Sami Zayn taking on Seth Rollins, and the match was good. And when Sami jumped off the rope and he sold his ankle being injured, I thought it was great. I thought it was brilliant, and it went right directly into his underdog from underground, or however they say it, his little thing that he does. It went right through that, and he fought valiantly to the end until his ankle just gave out on him, and Seth Rollins hit the pedigree. But the match was great. Yeah, I heard WWE was trying to do the same thing with him that they did with Daniel Bryan. So if that's the case, I mean, wouldn't he be in a storyline or something and not just tag teaming with Neville? Don't get me wrong. Them tag teaming together is awesome and amazing. But I think Sami Zayn just deserves to be on his own. But then again, Daniel Bryan's popularity really did pick up after Team Hell No broke up. So that's also fact. But other than that, the match was great, so I gave it an A. Next, Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn. Kevin Owens versus Neville. And let's be honest, who actually thought Neville was going to win? Like, here's the thing. You put somebody up against Kevin Owens. Kevin, you already know Kevin Owens is going to win. The only thing would be if either John Cena or Sami Zayn or Roman Reigns or Dean Ambrose or somebody like that. Then you're not so sure if Kevin Owens will win. But if you put him against somebody like Neville, you're thinking, come on, WWE. Again, we not stupid. We know Kevin Owens is going to win. And actually, he did win, of course. So it's going to be him and Rollins and two other people later on tonight. He won thanks to the help of Chris Jericho. So, but next, thank God, the Lord Almighty, that Big E, not only was there not a championship match on Raw, but Big E did not turn on the New Day. I think, and I was watching Wrestling with Regret today, and they were trying some Booty-O cereal. And they did make a very valid point, and that was this. If the plan was to break up the New Day, then they wouldn't have made the Booty-O cereal. Because what's the point of making Booty-O cereal if you plan on breaking the New Day up not too long after that? Because once a team breaks up, unless they're in the Hall of Fame, or unless they're are legends, their stuff is not going to be on the WWEshop.com. There's nothing on there about the Shield. There's nothing on there about... there's nothing on there about the Shield. Okay, the Shield broke up 2 years ago, and there's nothing on there about the Shield. I mean, obviously there's stuff on there about DX and probably other famous tag teams, but it's not. If they break up, it's not going to be there. So I think the New Day will stay together a little bit longer. How long? I don't know. Maybe they'll lose to the... if they're not having a championship match on Raw, maybe then they'll lose to the Carl Anderson and them at Clash of Champions. But if not, then we're looking at Enzo and Cass, which, why not? Which I prefer anyway, but even still. Excuse me. Okay, so... Next we had Big E versus Carl Anderson. The match was it was okay. It wasn't great. It wasn't spectacular. Big E ended up winning after the distraction from outside, and they got the win. So yeah. So I mean, just the way it kind of felt, the feud kind of felt over, but it kind of felt like it was not over. So that's why I'm saying if they fight at Clash of Champions, which they are still the best option. So just saying. Next we had Titus O'Neil challenged Darren Young, and I felt so bad for Titus. Not only was he messing up his lines, number one, but number two, nobody cared. Nobody cared that he was out there. Nobody cared that Bob Backlund had him in the chicken wing. Nobody cared that he did his Clash of the Titus on Darren Young. This segment is boring. Nobody cares, and they're like, why are they feuding again? They act like they're feuding the first time. They've broken up and feuded before. Now they're doing it. And the thing he's basing it off of him losing the tag team championships last year. Why are you basing off of last year? If you were basing off of last year, you should have broke up last year, feuded last year. That would have made sense. Not a year later and say, I'll drop the dead weight. No, you didn't drop the dead weight. You broke up and we didn't even know. Again, like I said, nobody didn't even care because no one was talking. They were on their phone. They went to the bathroom. That's what they were doing. So I gave it a D because, unfortunately, D is for don't care. Alright, so next we had Rusev taking on Big Cass. He had his ribs taped up because of what Roman Reigns did to him the night before at SummerSlam. And, again, it wasn't nothing spectacular. It was okay. It was alright. Rusev decided not to finish the match, and he lost via countout, meaning Big Cass is going to be the third member in the Fatal 4-Way for the Universal Championship. Obviously, we all know that Big Cass isn't going to win. But if you have heard the rumors, Vince wants to do Big Cass versus Brock Lesnar. And even though Big Cass is 7 feet tall, we're talking about the beast incarnate, Brock Lesnar. I mean, who can really beat Brock? I mean, my own personal opinion, these are the people I would love to see face Brock Lesnar. Cesaro, I think they would have a great match. Kevin Owens, I think those two would have a great match. And apparently, what's his name? Samoa Joe wants to face Brock Lesnar as well. So those are 3 great matches right there that we can have. Well, 2. Like I said, I'm not so sure about Big Cass yet, and I don't really know Samoa Joe like that. So right now, 1. But other than that, I mean, so I gave the match a C. It was so funny too when Rusev kicked him and Enzo, and Enzo was just laid out on the ground like this. I thought that was funny. Other than that, that was a okay segment, so I gave it a C. Next, we have Bayley debuting. Charlotte was coming out. She was talking about how she defeated Sasha Banks and how her run was a fluke, and how they did talk about the back, so it was the back issues, but it's not as seriously as we were all speculating. So she will be back hopefully sooner rather than later. And Bayley, like I said, Bayley did debut, and she challenged Charlotte for the women's championship, but instead she had to face Dana Brooke because she was the one in wrestling gear. Tired, bro. I may need to go to sleep early tonight. I don't know. Bayley debuting was obviously the obvious choice. First of all, they said that Bayley was going to come on the main roster after SummerSlam anyway, number 1. Number 2, it's interesting because we don't know when Sasha Banks is going to be back. It said September 23rd, but, you know, with not being as severe as they thought, she could be back earlier. It's interesting. Do they have Bayley win, and then Sasha Banks can come back, and then we can get a potential triple threat match? And if you do you have Sasha Banks win back the title? Because you got 2 faces. You got Bayley and you've got Sasha Banks. Obviously, then you've got Charlotte. So I'm thinking that match could be just as good as the one at WrestleMania when it was with Becky Lynch. But do you have Sasha Banks gain the title back? I think you do. Bayley just debuted, and unlike Finn Balor, she can afford to wait because Sasha Banks really hasn't had her moment to shine. Because whenever something happens, whenever she's about to shine, something gets in her way. Everybody thought Sasha Banks was winning at WrestleMania. For whatever reason, she didn't. Everyone was happy when she finally won, but then she had to give the title up because she was injured. She never can really have her moment. So I think when she comes back, she's going to have to win the championship back. So that's just my opinion right there. So does Bayley win? I say no, because by the time Sasha Banks comes back, Clash of Champions will be happening. So it should probably most likely be a triple threat. Alright, so I already said that Dana faced Dana Brooke. I really fast forwarded through it, so I didn't really care. So I mean, I heard it was quick. It was quick anyway. So next we have Braun Strowman checking on Johnny Knockout, and unlike everyone else, this guy had a little bit of offense. And he said when Byron Saxton asked him why he wanted to face Braun Strowman, he said because I like a big sweaty guy or something like that. So I guess he's supposed to be gay or homeless. I don't know, but You know, he had a little bit of offense, so I gave it a C. I was hesitant to give it a D, but because he had a little bit of offense and he was getting something in on Strowman, I gave it a C. So hopefully, whatever it is they're planning for Strowman, they pick it up. Next, finally, the sad part. The Dudley Boyz are retiring. See, a few weeks back, we heard that the Dudley Boyz had signed a new contract for another year, but apparently that was just the deal, but they had never actually signed it. So for whatever reason, maybe their body was telling them it's just time, and they decided to retire. It's a sad year. They never did get that 10 tag team championships, and now I'm kind of thinking about it. I'm mad they kind of did, but I'm glad it's still on the New Day, so I'm just saying. Because it would have made no sense to take it off of them just to give them the titles and then for them to win it back. The point of the Dudley Boyz coming back was to put over the other tag teams. So I'm guessing if the Hardy Boyz come back, they'll be doing the same thing. But, yeah, they were great. I mean, obviously the year wasn't great, but it was good to have them back while we did. Obviously, they had to put somebody through a table one last time, and so we got the Shining Stars. They didn't get put through a table. They got 3D'd, and as they were about to put, I think it was a Primo through the table, Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows, or Doc Gallows, whatever, came out and beat him up. And that was it. And I was like, that's interesting. Maybe the Dudley Boyz will have one last rivalry before they go. Obviously, they would lose to Carl Anderson and them, but maybe they'd have the one last feud. But nah, I don't think so. I mean, it'd be great. But again, we know they'd lose. So, I mean, I don't want to see them lose. But that's just how you go out in the WWE, except for The Undertaker. The Undertaker wins at WrestleMania. He does not lose to John Cena. Because if he loses to John Cena, there's only one way. And you know how that is. And they're not going to do that. So, The Undertaker will not lose his last match. He will beat John Cena. And that is that. If that happens whenever he decides to come back. Hopefully it's tonight. But still. Okay, getting off track here. But y'all know I like Undertaker. That's my favorite wrestler right there. Come on, guys. Yeah, so Dudley Boyz got beat up, and that's pretty much it. I heard they got in a standing ovation in the back. So other than that, then that was it. So I gave the whole thing a B. I would have given it an A if they had just gone out after putting Primo through a table, but you know they had to put over Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows. So next. Finally, the main event, Roman Reigns taking on Chris Jericho. And again, this man was booed. He was... excuse me. He was fine facing Rusev. We were fine with it. I was fine with it. I've expressed for you before on this channel that I am a Roman Reigns fan. And yet and still, this guy cannot catch a break. Though I understand why you were booing him, it still doesn't make a difference. So, obviously... Roman Reigns beats Chris Jericho. So it's Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, Big Cass, and Kevin Owens. Who wins the championship? My prediction is... The obvious choice would say Seth Rollins. For him to hold on to the title and then until WrestleMania and then him lose it to Finn Balor. That would be the obvious choice. But what if Roman Reigns was the championship and then he turns heel? Because he can then again say, as I brought up in the past, you people boo me for what? I put on these excellent matches and you guys boo me, you reject me, I'm the guy, you're going to have to accept it, and if you don't, you can suck it, or whatever it is he's going to say. But I think it's the perfect way. If Roman Reigns wins that belt, because you know they'll boo him, you've got to turn him heel. And if you want to have a top face on Raw, turn Seth Rollins face. Turn him face. Have him go face, Roman Reigns will go heel, and then Roman Reigns will lose to Finn Balor when Finn Balor comes back at WrestleMania. Because obviously, even if he came back in February, what better way to have him win the championship than at WrestleMania? Which is in Orlando. Meaning I'll see it. But that's about it. That was Monday Night Raw. On a scale of 1 to 10, what do I give? This Raw certainly did not feel like the night after WrestleMania, like I said. But the Brooklyn crowd was still energetic. So I'm going to have to give Raw a 7 out of 10. Because it was just... It wasn't horrible, but it wasn't great. So that has been my Monday Night Raw review. I really got to find a way to make these videos shorter. I don't like it when they cross really over 20 minutes. Actually 15. So I'll try to cut it short for tomorrow. But other than that, that's about it. As for my NFC East videos, I decided to cut that short because the NFL season starts in like 2 weeks, right? So I could get the Giants out, and then I could get the other teams out, but I figured I'd just give you my prediction right now. Well, actually, I'll do it in another video. So, that's my video today. So come back tomorrow for the SmackDown Live review. And if you're not down with that, I've just got 2 words for you. Peace out. And remember, stay tuned, because the NFC East prediction video is next.